Well, I'm joined now by James Woodhousen, who is Visiting Professor of Forecasting and Innovation at London South Bank University. Good to see you, James. I was a bit worried that you were struggling to actually turn your phone off before the interview started. I'm not quite sure what that tells us, but you've watched the video. Assuming it's not fake, do you think the chimp has been trained to do this, or do you think it's managed to work it out itself?
Well, it's certainly being trained because tool use, which we've come to learn a lot about with animals, even crows fashion a twig to get hold of a piece of food down a test tube or something. Tool use is not heritable by chimps. So they do inherit some things through DNA, like social skills and so on, but not tool use. So this is clearly a very bright chimp because they differ in intelligence, and I'm pretty certain it's been trained.
Do you think it understands what it's doing? I mean, it's looking at the images, it's scrolling through, it's choosing things it likes. Is it just a blur when he looks at it, do you think? Or do you think he actually is aware of what he's doing?
Well, I think if you look at it, and provided it's not fake, he does catch on a fair bit, and it's very impressive. There are lots of jokes to be had. I mean, and parallels with human beings. He clearly didn't read the terms and conditions for Instagram use. He may get addicted, as the government's always telling us. And also, he only appears to be reading, like many of us, because he's not actually reading. That's where the line is drawn. When we're talking chimp intelligence, like artificial intelligence, it's nothing like the real thing.
Yeah, I mean, he does look like he's sort of aimlessly and rather pointlessly scrolling, like so many of us spend many an hour doing. Something that's struck me is that we're always on the search, aren't we, for the next thing that's most user-friendly, to try and make tech that is sort of intuitive. So when you take it out of the box, you know exactly what to do, rather than having to read the whole instruction manual. Have we now got to a point, do you think, where, if a chimp can use it, then we can use it straight away? Or do you think we'll always sort of need instructions for certain objects in the future?
Well, from that logic, I'm stupider than a chimp. There's no doubt about that. I think myself that user-friendliness is actually deteriorating with a lot of IT. Yes. Of course, for our Silicon Valley boosters, everything is seamless, exponential, and totally wonderful all the time. And then there are the critics who say it's all fake news, it manipulates people, and so on. The truth is somewhere in between. And I do think that the more I use IT, the more complicated and error-prone I find it. Now, I think what could happen is a better kind of Siri and all the other rivals of Siri in terms of voice recognition and so on. My one always, in the middle of a clause, begins with a capital, which is very annoying. So we've got a long way to go.
But we see two-year-olds, don't we? We see toddlers picking up an iPad and just knowing instinctively to do this.
Well, yes, but they've been trained too. You say instinctively, it doesn't go much further than that. I think what we will see in usability is a better kind of voice control, and the thing that's coming down the pike is facial expression recognition. So you just flashed your eyebrows there, now disappeared. It's not difficult to get machines to understand that. So I think that will improve things. I should say that, trained chimps decades ago at the Yerkes National Primate Research Center in Atlanta, one of them by the name of Austin spotted himself on a TV monitor and saw that, he could see himself. And so he looked himself in the mouth on this real-time TV monitor, couldn't see his teeth, so he grabbed a torch, by all accounts, and then sort of had another look, So dentists, no. But, they can pick up some stuff.
Yeah, fascinating, isn't it? Apes with apps. Thank you very much indeed, James Woodhousen. Good to speak to you. Fascinating.